Coghlans Tinder kit. This I picked up on Amazon for a little over $6, and I'm really excited to see what's in here. So here's the back. If you want to pause, you can pause and read all this if you'd like to. And I don't know why they put this in upside down, but it's basically 8 pieces of waterproof tinder, and there's a metal match in there. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I have a cup of water here because they say that this is waterproof. So behind me I have some small little twigs and stuff. I'm sitting out by a tree right now. I'm going to open this little kit up. It says that this kit is perfect for boaters, campers, backpackers, hunters. You could probably put it in your snowmobile, in your car, your boat, your quad, whatever. Things like that. So I'm pretty excited. This is a small little kit compared to the size of my hand. I mean, it's very small. It's smaller than an Altoids tin. So when you open it up, inside you can see the 8 pieces of tinder, and there's this little box here. I'm going to take this tinder and dump it out right here real quick because I want to look at this owner's manual. And obviously, if you are the type of person that has some common sense and you probably don't need the owner's manual, here's some paper to get your fire started. So basically the owner's manual is the directions talking about how to use it. I'll flip that over and let you see the back side. So that could be some paper to help you get your fire started. Now these little pieces of tinder, these are small. They're about the size of those ear plugs that you squeeze. That's about the size of them. And they don't really have any scent to them, but they remind me of those foam earplugs. That's about how big they are. About the size of those little foam earplugs that you would put in your ear. Now inside this box it says flint match, and there's nothing on any of the other sides of it. It says flint match. Very small. You can see, very small. And let's go ahead and open this up and see what this is. This is, I believe, some sort of ferrocerium rod. So you can see the ferrocerium rod. It's plastic, and it has a little keychain ring here so that you could include this to your keychain. And this little piece screws out, and you can notice on the tip here that there's a rubber O-ring on there. That's because people have been known to put lighter fluid down inside there, inside that hole, and then when they put this down in and they tighten it, that O-ring seals against the plastic there. Looks like I'm cross-threaded here. So the idea was that the O-ring would seal against the plastic like that, and it would keep the fuel that was inside from coming out. And you might be wondering why they would put fuel in here. That's because on the end there's a little piece of, I'm guessing it's fiberglass or something like that, and then you have your striker, and then your striker basically goes down the ferrocerium rod and it creates sparks just like this. Very light duty stuff, but this little wick, if you will, would be saturated with some sort of lighting fluid or something like that, and then that would basically work literally like a metal match. So now I'm going to go ahead and try one of these pieces. You can see that again I have my cup of water. I'm going to just drop that baby in there, make sure it's completely saturated. See that? It's completely wet. It has a Vaseline type feel to it, or maybe a waxy type feel. So I take it out of the water, shake the thing off a little bit. Now the instructions say that you're to smash it from end to end. So something like this. Make it flat. And then when you get it flat, pull the fibers apart. And you'll expose the inner fibers. This thing kind of comes in a roll almost. Feels like a roll. So that's kind of cool. So you can kind of just open the fibers here. And the idea is that when you get the fibers nice and exposed, you can lay this thing down. Try to zoom in and give you guys a little bit better view here. So it's right there. So the idea is that you expose the fibers, and then you take your small metal match, whether you had fluid in there or not, and you could light this piece up. Boy, that lighted up really quick. Lit up real quick. So from there you could take, you have about 5 minutes probably to take your bird's nest type material, whatever sticks and whatever you want to put on top of this thing to get it going. It'll give you time so that if you had marginal tinder, you would have time to be able to get this thing going. And I'm just sitting out here by this tree, whatever dry material I can find right here next to me. There's some leaves and little stuff like that, little twigs, stuff like that, nothing too crazy. Pretty simple. I'm just out here to show the product more than anything. So then the amount of time that piece would burn would give you enough time that if this wood, this little twigs and stuff, if they were marginal, if they were wet, the fact that that thing burns for 5 minutes would give you enough time to actually dry those pieces of wood and then eventually burn them. So looks like a pretty cool little product. The Coghlans Tinder Kit, they call it. Emergency Tinder Kit. Again, I purchased this on Amazon. It was like under $7. So please make sure you check the description box down below, because I'll put links down there to this product where you can find it. Again, it comes with 8 little pieces of tinder and a metal match that you can, again, not to reiterate too much folks, but you can put some sort of lighter fluid or something in this metal match and literally make it work like a match. And it all fits in this nice little case here that could be stowed away, put it in your quad, your car, whatever. I think it's a pretty cool little product. But you can obviously see that I very easily got a fire going. In fact, you could probably take this plastic case and put it inside of an Altoids tin. I believe that it would fit in there. And if you wanted to just replace this plastic in lieu of the Altoids tin, then you could use this plastic as an accelerant to get your fire going if you had to, if it was a survival situation. So there it is. You can see clearly that I got fire made, no problem. The product worked very well. I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of my water to put it out. Now when I put it all out, you can see underneath that there's still this piece of tinder. I'm kind of wondering if I could squeeze the water out of it, if it'll still light. See how I'm squeezing the water out of that? I'm wondering if it will still light after it's been saturated and everything else. It has like a Vaseline type feel to it. So I'm just going to rough up these fibers again and see if I can't start this thing again. Just out of curiosity. I don't know if I can or not. So I'll set it right here. Let me get some more leaves kind of as a bed to lay it down on, so it's something dry there. We get this little metal match. Bear with me, my hands are a little dirty. Okay, here's the metal match. This piece is very light. So let's try to strike this baby. See if we can get it going. I'm pretty sure that we'll get this thing going. It looks like it wants to go. So let me open these fibers a little bit better. The more surface area you have on these fibers, the better chance you have at ignition. Now again, if I had some sort of fluid in here, it'd probably help out tremendously. There it goes. We're lit up again. Took a few strikes, but nonetheless we were able to light. Pretty cool little product. put this back in the little box there. My hands got dirty. Now we got that lit up again. Here's another little piece right here in my fingers here. I'm going to just put that right back on. You can hear that the sizzling and stuff from the wood being wet. Now you see how this wood was wet because I poured water on it earlier. Let's see what happens. If it gives it enough time to dry this stuff out, because this stuff is now marginal. And we'll see what happens. All this wet stuff, I'm going to just slowly put on top. Let it dry that stuff off and see if we can't get fire out of it. It produces enough fire that it'll carry the flame long enough for you to heat up, dry, and turn that stuff into fuel. I believe it's going to work. I just have to be careful not to pour too much on too soon, to pile too much on. But all this stuff right here is wet. You can clearly see that we're showing a lot of heat, a lot of smoke, a lot of potential for it to burn. You know, that 5-minute time frame that you have is enough time, again, for it to dry the wood, dry it out, and actually start to burn it. So it looks like it's working. Just fanning it a little bit with my hand to help the airflow in there. I'm looking down in the top and I see a tiny flame in there. Looks like that's a pretty cool product, folks. You can clearly see that this had plenty of accelerant in it, enough to get me a fire going that can eventually be sustainable. That is completely drenched, completely soaked. It still goes to show what you can do with this kit. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Now get out there and get you a Coghlans emergency Tinder kit. You will not be disappointed. It's pretty good stuff.